The long-awaited Google Pixel 10 Pro Fold is here, and so far I am loving how sleek this feels in my hands. Let's see how this performs in our gaming gauntlet of Genshin Impact, Zenless Zone Zero, Wuthering Waves with the Gamesir G5 and Delta Force at the highest possible settings. Performance-wise, the Google Pixel 10 Pro Fold that we have is running the Google Tensor G5 for its CPU. Its GPU is from Imagination Tech, the Power VR D Series DXT 481536, 16 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of storage. Everything plays out on an 8-inch foldable LTPO OLED 120Hz display, and lastly, it has a 5050 mAh battery. Before we start our temperature check, we are currently at 100% battery right here. 25.9, 35.8. Nothing out of the ordinary. Alright, going down to the bottom of the phone over here. Alright, Coolios, 25, 25.6, 26.4. That's alright. Let's check the back. Starting with the area where the camera modules are at, 25.4, kind of similar to the front. Nothing out of the ordinary. Alright. Alright, cool. So with that, let's get into our first game, Genshin Impact. Alright, we are in Genshin Impact right now. Let's check our settings first before we start anything. So for graphics, we set everything to the highest render resolution, high shadow quality, high visual effects, SFX quality is on high, highest environment detail, 60 FPS, that's the highest we can go through. High motion blur, bloom is turned on, anti-aliasing is TA, crowd density is on high, and that's about it. Also, current graphics API is OpenGL, so this is what we're working with. And before I forget anything, we are currently at 94% battery. We have our FPS counter over here. Let's just change up characters to see if there's any stuttering. Alright. Nothing that I am seeing so far. At the most, it's just like a 1 FPS kind of drop type thing going on. Alright. Let's run through Inazuma City real quick. In Tartaglia. Things are rendering in right now. Okay, not too bad. We're down to 54, 52, 46 FPS. We are dropping. We're not going to hit that constant 60 anymore, but can we hit like a constant 50? I think that's what we need to aim for right now. Let's run a bit more. So far, there isn't any major stuttering. Okay, it is kind of doing that right now. Well, it's not major though, but it's enough to be noticeable. Let's run it down, jump up. Okay, not too bad. Scenery still looks pretty great on this phone, honestly, with this whole display over here when it's unfolded. It looks really good, and there's barely any crease, as you can see. So we've really come a long way when it comes to foldable phones. Let's run down, and yeah, that's about it. Minimal stuttering and all, of course, but you know, we're not really going to hit like a pure 60 FPS, like a steady 60 FPS when it comes to this phone, so I'm guessing, especially when you're out in the open world. But let's do a commission real quick. Alright, let's jump off. And really find the location of the commission. It's right here. But as we are gliding, so far so good. No huge frame drops or anything. And again, the scenery looks pretty good. Everything's rendering very nicely. And we're in an updraft almost now. Nice. That's it. Nice, so far, even with what's it called? Alties, no issues whatsoever. Let's see, one more time. Altie. Let's go. Oh, no voice line. Okay, but it's a game thing. But so far so good. I mean, it's very stable, to be honest. I was expecting a lot worse, but so far, combat outside here is doing pretty alright. And as we're running and walking along, you know, this path on here, right after combat, I mean, as you can see, you know, we are still in the 50s kind of range. We're not going to hit that 60 anytime soon, but still, you know, it looks good. It feels good so far. The phone really isn't warming up. And we're currently at about like 4 minutes of game time. Let's head over to the Spiral Abyss real quick. We're going to be starting the challenge soon. And of course, you know, because we're playing the Spiral Abyss, it's in an arena format, so everything's happening indoors. Now let's hit here, ulti. Did that look? Beautiful, no issues, nothing. And in the Spiral Abyss, I think we're going to hit that 60, a constant 60 FPS. Line up for the ulti. Nice. I think these are the last two. Let's just get them. Nice. Let's get this dude before we can cause any more issues for us. Let's get that archer. Where you at? Ulti. So even with multiple ultis going on, let's go for that. I know there aren't any frame drops or anything yet. At the most we're dropping like 4, but it's barely noticeable. So that's nice to see. And we are done. Currently at like 8 minutes and 40 seconds of uptime, and we're at 91% battery. I believe we're at 96 just now, so that's 5% in about 8 minutes of gameplay. Not too bad. Let's check our temperatures real quick. Starting with the front over here. 32, wow. Okay. 39, okay, yeah, that makes more sense. The bit over here, 39, 39.3. We'll explore this half first. 39.4, nothing going above 40. Or at 40, honestly. Alright, it's still pretty alright numbers, slightly below what I'm expecting, which is usually about 41 degrees. And on this side, it's 32. Most of the work, I mean the chip's mostly on this side anyway, of the phone. At the bottom over here, 31.4, yep. That checks out. And checking the top over here, where most of the work is done, 35.3, 35.6. You know, it makes sense for the front to be a lot hotter because, you know, it's a screen. 36.5, 37.9. Yeah, these are almost night and day, but as you can see, you know, this thing is still doing the job and it's not that warm. It's not even warm at all. I'll be honest, I was expecting a bit worse than this, but so far the results are pretty good. And with that, let's move on to our next game, Zenless Zone Zero. Before I start the temperature check, I let the phone rest for about 3 to 4 minutes, and currently we are at 90% battery right here. Let's check temperatures before we start Zenless Zone Zero. Starting with the area over here where the front-facing camera is at 33.1. I believe this is the same area where it was hottest just now. This was at running about 39 degrees, slightly below 40 degrees. On this end over here, on this half of the phone, 33.1, 33. Yeah, within 3 to 4 minutes, this thing has gone down about 6 degrees Celsius and slightly lesser, but still, you know, this is cool to see. Look at that. That is great thermal management. Again, expecting a lot worse, mostly because like a lot of folding phones and everything don't really have a lot of great thermal management properties, but this one so far, look at that. 6 degrees in about 3 to 4 minutes. That is cool to see. Let's check on this end is here. 30.5. Yep. Significantly cooler compared to the other end. Starting with this side again, where most of the work is being done. 32.3. 32.6. It has cooled down to about, I think, the same numbers, or we could, not the same numbers, but you know, close enough to what we started off with by about maybe what, 6 degrees. 31.7, 29.7. It's below 30 on this end. Okay, cool. So with that, let's get into Zenless Zone Zero. So we are in Zenless Zone Zero right now, and before I continue gaming, I just want to say that again, we got this phone a little bit before the release of it, so you know, there hasn't been any updates or any patches to optimize the game and the phone for each other, so just keep that in mind while we run along. But before we do anything, let's check our settings real quick. Graphics, I've set everything to the highest, high rendering, anti-aliasing TAA, shadows on high, ultra FX quality, 60 FPS, that's the highest we can go to, and character quality on high, environment quality on high, volumetric fog enabled, bloom has been enabled, and this is what we're working with. And again, currently we are at 88% battery. So let's start the test. We're going to be walking from one end of 6th Street to the other end. Usually the stuttering happens around here, this intersection over here. As you can see, we are dropping mad frames right now, down to like 20, 30, as we just walk through the street over here. Let's see if we can make it to the end. Alright, 39, 36, 43. Okay, all the way to the end. Alright, and now let's just sprint it back all the way down and see if there's been any improvements. So, okay, 46, 45, 37, 35, 40, 42, 59. Alright, and again, this is how the game will perform like in the open world. This is how it will be like in the open world, but for now, let's just get into some fighting. Okay, so I've got 3 of the probably most graphically intensive agents for Zenless, and I could not even react to that. I couldn't react to that either. Good lord. We are slideshowing. Oh, this is a slideshow, man. Well, this is great. Can I switch around? Okay, at least I dodged that, but wow. Yeah, this is happening right now. Again, you know, Zenless isn't exactly the most forgiving when it comes to its graphical the stress it puts on the phones. Wow, okay. Okay, at least we could sort of get a combo off in real time. Nice. Okay, let's just go for one of these. And that is a clear, I believe. Yeah, that's a clear. Okay. So as you can see, again, Zenless isn't the most forgiving when it comes to how much stress it puts on the phone's GPU and CPU. Let's run another scenario, but so far we have 4 minutes into gameplay and we're at 86% battery already. Let's go for another round. Okay, we're in right now. I just got the Resonium over here. Okay, finally rate build up, let's go. Beautiful. Oh. Can I dodge that? Yeah, I did. I can. Dodge that as well. That's nice. Let's get evening out. And you know, it's obviously we can't hit that 60 FPS. Like that's for damn sure. But let's go for an ulti. We did get one just now. Okay. Yeah, slideshow business. That's the first phase done. Oh boy, here we go. Let's go for one of these. So far, somehow it's actually smoothing. Never mind, I spoke too fast. Let's keep going. Oh my lord, okay. Okay, it has steep. Never mind, I spoke too soon as well. Oh my lord. I can't even react properly because of how this situation is right now. Oh, okay, I dodged that at least. Okay, come on. Nice, dodge that. It is smoothing. For some reason, it is kind of working right now. Ish. Let's go for an ulti. Look at that, my fingers are moving. The game really isn't. Alright, let's get Evelyn out. Oh, it's a wipe. There's a wipe. Oh. Okay, so I think we've seen enough. Currently at 7 minutes of uptime, coming to 8 minutes of uptime. In about 2 seconds. Yep, we are in 8 minutes of uptime right now. Let's check temperatures real quick. We had this phone before it's been released, and again, you know, Zenless does take a bit more time and work to get it optimized and all that stuff. So, you know, playing this game before the phone's release is a proper factor in this whole thing. So keep that in mind. But yeah, as you can see, 40 degrees, 40.4. Only a single degree off from what we're experiencing with Genshin for the front over here. And at the bottom over here, 33, 32.2, which makes sense because most of the bottom bits over here are fully controlled, so you're not really going to feel the warmth that's coming from the top over here. Again, depending on how you orientate the phone, but obviously I would prefer to play with the camera module at the back at the top over here, just like this. So let's check the back. Alright, 36.6, 34.8, 35.8, 36.3, 37.6, 38.9, 39.4. Are we going to break 40? No, we're not. Wow, okay. 36.2. Alright. Honestly, these numbers are still a lot lower than I was expecting. So, still a pretty good job, Google, with Zenless so far. Let's check the bottom over here. 32.6, 31.5. Alright, that is par for the course. And yeah, so far so good. I mean, again, it's Zenless on a phone that hasn't been released yet, so that's also par for the course, and you know, just pretty normal around here. But so far so good with the thermal stuff. And before we get into our next game, which is Wuthering Waves, here's a message from our friends at Secretlab. At Geek Culture, Secretlab is our everyday ergonomic buddy. Whether we're making videos, riding up a storm, or gaming for hours on end, we are comfortably seated and feel right at home without the aches and pains. Secretlab provides ergonomic support from head to toe, with a dynamic lumbar support system that adapts to your movements, along with a proprietary medium foam cushioning that optimizes pressure distribution. They even have accessories like the ergonomic recliner add-on to keep your legs elevated and well rested at any angle you like. For more information, check out secretlab.co. We are hot off the heels of Zenless Zone Zero. I've let the phone rest for about 3 to 4 minutes again, and we are currently at 83% battery. Let's check temperatures before we start Wuthering Waves with the Gamesir G5 Plus. Right here, let's check the top bit over here. It was like 40 degrees. We're back down to 33 in about 3 to 4 minutes. You know, still very, very good thermals on here. Checking the bottom, 30.7, 30.3. Alright, look at that, 29. Great numbers actually. Alright, let's check the back now. Okay. The back bit over here, 31.8, 32, 32.2, 32.6, 32.9. Interesting. And the bottom over here, 30.2, 29.7, 30. Very good numbers. We let the phone rest for a bit and it has gone down by a lot as well. So great performance on the thermal end so far, Google. And let's put this on the Gamesir G5 Plus right here. Ideally, we want to get the, ideally we want the camera module to be at the top over here. So let's just slot this in just like that, and we are in for it. So as you can see, the phone is fit quite snugly into the Gamesir G5 Plus. But of course, being snug means you need to be a bit more careful because this camera module fits into the slot pretty damn nicely, to the point that you want to watch how much pressure you put as you're holding onto the controller over here. So just be mindful of that. Okay, so we are in Wuthering Waves right now. Let's check our settings first before we start anything. Everything has been set to the highest FPS, which is 60, high special effects quality. FSR is on, FSR has been turned on, shutter quality ultra high, LED bias is on high, anti-aliasing has been turned on, bloom has been turned on, crowd density is on high, and hit flash turned off, auto FPS turned off, damage numbers have been turned on, physics-based animation has been turned on as well. And yeah, this is what we are working with. Let's hit real quick. And so far, so good. I mean, we are not gonna hit that 60 FPS, that constant 60 FPS anytime soon, but as long as we hit a constant 40-ish, I think we'll be fine. But as we're running around right now, I don't think that's even possible. Look at that. That's not that great. But it is working, it is smooth, and there's not a lot of stuttering. Alright, that is nice to see. Over here where the cafe is at, or the restaurant. And as we are running, We're kind of at 50 FPS right now, 41 FPS, 38. As things start loading, as people start loading as well. Alright, passing by the restaurant over here, 45, 51. The cat just loaded in as well. Honestly, I'm not really expecting a lot after, Zenless and Genshin. But of course, Genshin's arena has been pretty great so far. That was like the smoothest experience with this phone thus far. So let's just hit into some combat. Alright, let's go. So far so good. I mean, we're keeping it like a constant 50, 60 FPS. With a counter on there, I think. Not really. Let's just go for an ulti. Very smooth so far in this arena setting. So far so good. Still at 30 FPS and oh, he's not even loaded in. Nice. We wrecked the 40 FPS. Trying to go back to climb to 50 again. Ulti real quick. So far still very good. We're doing A-okay. Let's just get that burst in. Beautiful. Let's get that ulti off. Nice. Beautiful. I think that's done. Is it? Yeah, it's done. So yeah, in this arena type settings, I think we're doing pretty okay. Obviously, Zenless didn't really go that well. But with Genshin and Wuthering, I think you can get some gaming at the highest possible settings. But still, you want to bring everything down a couple notches just so you can get a more enjoyable experience. But so far with this boss battle in the arena, I think we're doing A-okay. Alright, so now that we're in the village over here, I'm going to move on to these mobs outside here to see how combat is like on the outside. And we're at 30 FPS, but I think this is still a lot more smoother compared to Zenless Zone Zero, of course. Just ulti that real quick. Swap out the characters. Nice. And let's get him. I think that should do the trick. So yeah, between Genshin and Wuthering, I think Genshin does a better job when it comes to the stability bit. Alright, so now that that's done, let's hit to the Tensor field over here and fight off some enemies. Hello? Okay, oh, okay, got him at the wrong moment. Whack him. Even though we're only hitting these numbers, so even though we're hitting these numbers, it's still alright, still smooth in its own right. At least it's not stuttering all over the place. Beautiful work so far. I mean, the visuals and everything on here look pretty good. Still damn good, honestly. Let's get him. And that is done. Okay, let's just remove the phone from the Gamesir G5 Plus. Currently, we are at 11 minutes of uptime with Wuthering Waves, and we are at 76% battery after all this gaming that has been done. Let's check temperatures real quick, starting from the top over here where the front-facing camera is at, and all the chips are at 40 degrees, 39.7, 40.1. As expected, it's the same thing as Zenless. Still was expecting this to be a little bit higher, 41, 42, but this has been doing very well so far with the last two games, and it has done pretty well with this one as well. And the bottom over here is barely passing 30 for most of this half of the phone, so that's very cool to see. All right, let's check the back. 35.3, 34.9, 36.8. Great numbers. Very, very good numbers. Again, nothing's even getting close to 38 except for one bit over here that's like, well, okay, it's 38 somewhere around here. But still, for the rest of the body to be not hitting 37, 38 at the back, yeah, this is great stuff from Google. Let's check the bottom half over here. Obviously not even breaking 30. And yeah, that's really about it. Again, very good thermal management coming from Google stuff. And with that, let's get into our last game, Delta Force. We are going to be starting with Delta Force in a bit, but before we start, let's check temperatures. We are currently at 74% battery, and I've let the phone rest for a bit longer this time, for about 5 to 6 minutes. Let's check temperatures over here with the top part where all the chips are at, 30.5. 30.5 all the way, really? 30.5. Okay. Cool, let's check the bottom bit over here, 28.3. 28.1. All right, let's check the back over here, 30.3, 30.3. All right, pretty much the same as the front. That's again still very refreshing to see. 27.8 for the bottom half over here. All right, cool. Still very impressed with the Google's thermal management when it comes to this Google Pixel 10 Pro Fold. And let's get into Delta Force. Alright, so we are in Delta Force right now. Let's check our settings real quick. We're in our graphics right now, and for quality we're at ultimate and FPS we're at high. I cannot put ultimate for both quality and FPS because the game doesn't allow it. So we are going to be running with this ultimate and high FPS. Has adaptive power consumption, no. Bloom has been turned on, water reflection has been turned on. Ray tracing is on. I cannot enable ray tracing on this phone. Depth of field has been turned on. Anti-aliasing, yes. Volumetric lighting, yes. Flash eye protection mode has been turned off, and yeah, that's about it. Alright, so we're back in. Alright, so we are in the game right now. I had to change out my settings real quick, but we are at 40 FPS. It's a constant 40 FPS right now. And so far so good. The map looks really good, and we have our jets above there. I believe that's an F-35. And we are going to be taking that objective over there, A2, and get the hell out of the street. So far so good. Oh. Oh boy. No. It's a bit wide. I've not really. And it's one. Still need to get up here real quick. I'd say 4 minutes of uptime. Gonna be hitting out. Get closer and just get some insurance out. Alright, that should be enough. Okay, so currently we are at, I think, about 10 minutes of gameplay right now. We're at 69% battery, not too bad, honestly. Let's just play this a bit more, and then we'll check out settings. Nice. God damn it, keep getting about the button on the left side. Come on, man. Beautiful. Alright, you can be one right now. Nice to see. I'm going for B1. Once I get my smokes up, we're going to be pushing. Alright, so we're currently at about, I think, 12 to 13 minutes of gameplay, and uptime, we are at 67% battery. So honestly, this is actually doing pretty okay, and like at a almost constant 40 FPS. You know, you can really get some proper gaming out of this phone on high quality, but of course, you know, still recommend to bump it down a couple notches. Let's just check temperatures. I want to kill this dude over here. I swear there's a guy right there. After about 40 minutes of gameplay with Delta Force, currently we are at 36.3 degrees Celsius at the top over here, where the chips are at. which again, still very, very cool to see. That as we run down from the top over here where the camera module is at, all the way down here, 35.4, still very cool to see. Great thermal management, even after like 13 to 14 minutes of gameplay with Delta Force. And at the bottom over here, 31.6. Yep, that is par for the course. Great stuff. Still Google. Let's check the back over here. Starting with the bottom of that half of the phone where the chips are at, 32.1, 33.5, cool stuff, 34. Yep, great thermal management. At the bottom over here, it's not even going to sweat it, 31.2, 31.8, okay, 30.8, sorry, 30.7, 30.6, great numbers still. All right, and with that, I think we can get into our final thoughts. The Google Pixel 10 Pro Fold has great thermal management capabilities and performed pretty similarly to the Google Pixel 10 Pro XL that we tested when that came out. I just need to make a note, we are playing all these games before the phone's release, so expect patches to come out for the respective games when the Pro Fold has been out for a while. So far, the Google Pixel 10 Pro Fold has held its own with Genshin Impact and Wuthering Waves, with Genshin hitting a near constant 60 FPS in the Spiral Abyss and a good 40 FPS in the open world, and I can say the same thing about Wuthering and Delta Force. Genshin has played pretty smooth with some stuttering in the open world, same thing goes for Wuthering and Delta Force as well. However, when it comes to Zenless Zone Zero, its performance can't be helped because Zenless is a pretty unforgiving game to a great number of phones, especially with characters who have graphically intensive attacks. Thermal management is this phone's, or rather the Pixel 10 lineup's greatest strength, and being able to dissipate heat efficiently in a matter of minutes on top of how little heat was generated during gaming is very impressive to see from a Google phone. To sum it up, this is great thermal management, but you might want to kick down the performance options down a notch to enjoy gaming as best you can. If you have any questions about the Google Pixel 10 Pro Fold, let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to get to them. If you like what we do, make sure to follow us on all of our socials right here and maybe leave a like and hit the subscribe button. It goes a long way. If you want to see more stuff, check this out.